Hi there, welcome back to the AM Club. Time now for Lifestyle Daily. Now, earlier this morning, I was telling you that we're going to be talking about your kidneys and you. How well do you know your kidneys? How much importance do you really place on your kidneys? So, Doc sits here and has been airing my bottle of water and says, I see, you haven't even drunk your water. Stray bullets, he started firing already. So, guys, ask all your questions, send in all your comments. Today is quite a free consultation for you because if you have to go to the clinic, he'll charge you. Now, we are joined by Dr. Bismarck Edu Apia, Medical Officer, University Hospital, KNUST. Thank you for joining us this morning, Doc.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for making time. I know that you were navigating your way,
Yes.
but we're glad that you're here finally. Before we came on, I was asking you which one of these organs, because the most popular one you hear is the liver, and then the next one you hear is the kidney. Which one of these two would cause a lot more fatality?
Well, I mean, the numbers speak more for the kidney. I mean, it does not say that the liver is not important.
Of course not.
But the liver is really important, but the kidneys are very, very much important. Think about it. You have two kidneys, okay? But you can actually survive with one. So the idea that you have two can tell you how important the kidney is, so that if one messes up, you can actually still live clearly with one. So the kidney is really, really important.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. It'll be a good time to ask, what's really the role of the kidney in a human body?
So the kidney performs so many different functions, okay? So I will list just a few of them. The first one is that the kidney is the main organ that does excretion of waste substances from your body. You know, you take in things, you breathe in oxygen, and then usually would produce some waste substances, and it's the kidney that will do all the filtration and brings out the waste substances. The kidney also helps you with production of blood, red blood cells. This is one of the functions many people don't know, but it's a very important function.
I see.
The kidney also metabolizes a lot of the drugs that we take. Okay?
What does metabolize mean?
So, you know, when you take the drugs, when it works out in your body, how it goes out. Okay, because you can't have the drug in your system every day, every time, because it has to come out. Also, the kidney maintains water balance, and also other electrolyte balance. These are some of the few functions. It has also so many different functions that we can even talk about later, but these are the major functions that the kidney does.
Okay. When people come to the hospital, what really do they present about the kidney that will have the medical officer's full attention?
So that is one of the challenges, because usually the kidney at earlier stages of disease will not provide us with a lot of clues, okay? So it is very silent when the kidney diseases start. However, if you are at the end stages of the kidney disease, then you can have some symptoms. And some of these symptoms may be peripheral edema. You have like swollen legs. You can have issues with your urine. You'd realize that you don't produce as much urine as you used to produce. You can also have other symptoms like fatigue, you know, because I talked about the kidney producing red blood cells. If you don't have a lot of red blood cells, you don't get a lot of energy, you get fatigue. Generally, you don't feel unwell, okay? Those are some of the reasons why people will come to the hospital. The kidney also does one main, very good, important function, which is it regulates our blood pressure. I guess everybody has heard about blood pressure a lot. So if the kidney is at fault, then it means you would have issues with your blood pressure. You can take a lot of medications, but your blood pressure would still be high. Then it will give us a clue to even think about your kidney at that point in time.
Okay, right. Apart from health concerns about kidneys that I may have heard, kidney stones, hydronephrosis, if I got the name quite right, what's the most common illness, even though it doesn't present at an early stage, what's the most common illnesses that are being diagnosed with the kidneys?
So, let's say even from children, you can have kidney diseases in children.
Really?
Yes. These can range from congenital abnormalities. You can be born with congenital kidney abnormalities, okay? But what is really of a challenge is a chronic kidney disease. Okay, this is when you have reduced kidney function for 3 months or more. So you are allowed to have reduced kidney function between 1 to 3 months. That is called an acute kidney injury, which we expect that you can recover from.
Okay.
But if from 3 months and above you are still having a reduced kidney function, and then maybe the architecture of the kidney, there's some issue with it, then we say you have a chronic kidney disease. This means that your kidney is not performing as it should perform.
Okay.
That is one of the major diseases that we see a lot nowadays, because it has a lot of different risk factors concerned with that. And it's also very fatal. The numbers don't speak a lot with it. Currently, I think, even in the US, about 15 to 20% of adults, they live with chronic kidney. Yes. And the thing is, chronic kidney disease can later go on into an end-stage disease where the kidney will not work at all.
Okay. If the kidney has a challenge, can it be cured?
So it depends. It depends. So when it comes to kidney disease, they are in stages, okay? You can have, firstly, an acute kidney injury. That is the injury or the loss of function you get between 1 and 3 months, or between 1 day to 3 months. Those ones, based on the cause, can be cured. For example, you got into a trauma, okay, and then your kidneys were involved. Your kidneys can be healed within the period of the trauma, and then you would not further have like a chronic kidney disease.
Are you talking about trauma? Trauma, like the kind of trauma? What kind of trauma is
Trauma is force or anything that hits a particular organ. So let's say you get into an accident, your kidneys are involved, you get a blow to your kidney, you can have a loss of function from that, but you can recover from that. But when you get a chronic kidney disease, what we do is we try to slow down the progression into an end stage, but you cannot recover back to your normal function when you start getting a chronic kidney disease. Because the risk factors for chronic kidney disease ranges from hypertension to diabetes. Okay, so since you can't cure diabetes, about actually 40% of chronic kidney disease cases are caused by diabetes.
Okay.
So if you can't cure diabetes, it will be very hard to cure your chronic kidney disease.
Okay.
What we do is we try to
manage it.
Manage, exactly.
Okay. We'll go into the causes, the risk factors, the symptoms and all. But my understanding is that everybody's got 2 kidneys.
Yes.
And they're located where? Here?
Yes.
One here.
One there, one here.
Right.
Yes.
Do the 2 perform the same thing at the same time? Or when one is performing, one is on standby for one to fail before? What does it do, both of them?
Both of them are actually performing at the same time. But the good news is that when there's an issue with one, the function of the healthy one can still do everything that you need without any problems.
Okay. Help me with some science here. If both are performing at the same time, how is it possible that one can get a challenge and then the other? Are they not performing at the same time?
They are performing at the same time, but for example, they are 2 different organs, okay? Having different things passing through, at the same point in time. But one can have an injury. For example, you have 2 eyes, okay? One can sustain a blow, but the other one would work, okay? And then some of the intrinsic factors in the parenchyma of the kidney, this is a big word, but what happens in the kidney can change at any point. It can affect just one, okay? But also, there are a lot of conditions because they are systemic. For example, diabetes is systemic. It's your whole system. Usually, if diabetes is your culprit, it would affect both of the kidneys. Okay. It would affect both of the kidneys. The things that usually affect one are, let's say, direct blows, as I was talking to. Let's say some surgical interventions that may even affect just one part of the kidney. But if you have systemic disease like diabetes and hypertension, usually you go for both. You will go for both? Yes. Okay. Is it difficult to diagnose kidney disease? So that's the good thing. It's actually not difficult to diagnose kidney disease, but you have to go looking for it at some point. Because, the early stages of the disease does not present with very specific symptoms. Okay. For example, if I feel tired today and I feel like vomiting today, I could say it's malaria, right? But if I decide to check my kidney function once every year, or let's say twice every year, if I'm getting old and I decide to do that, I can see that, my kidney is probably not performing well, because we have parameters to check for all these things, and they are very easy to do. You just take a blood test, you take an ultrasound will let us see exactly how the kidneys are looking like. A blood test will test some particular parameters that we use to grade kidney diseases, and then just a simple urine test can even show us that something may be wrong with your kidney. Okay. So it's very easy to diagnose, just that we don't go looking for it. We only see it when it is very late. When something is happening. Okay. It'll be a good time to talk about the causes. Yes. You've mentioned hypertension and all of that, but let's revert to the major causes.
from the minor. You can grade them. Okay.
I mean, I would even want to start from the top so that it becomes easier. Okay. So as I said, about 40% of chronic kidney disease cases are caused by diabetes.
Okay.
And about 25 to 30% by hypertension.
Okay.
Because these diseases, they affect the whole body system, and then even the veins and the arteries, and these also supply the kidney. So it's a very big systemic disease that can affect multi-organs. Now, one other one which is also very, very important is drugs.
Take a moment and go back to diabetes. So the diabetes, I've been learning that there are two types of it.
Yes.
All these types can cause it.
Yes. All of them can cause, yes.
Okay. Once you have been diagnosed of diabetes,
you should really be looking out for your kidneys. Yes.
Okay.
So, and then the other one I was talking about was drugs. It's funny because drugs should help us cure a lot of things, right? Mm-hmm. But if you use certain drugs for a long time, they can predispose you to getting kidney diseases, okay? Some of the culprits, we call them nephrotoxic. Nephro means kidney. Okay. So nephrotoxic drugs are drugs that are toxic to the kidney, okay? Apart from that, we also have simple drugs that we use during our daily lives that if you use for a long time can predispose you to kidney disease. For example, is NSAIDs, aspirin, ibuprofen. Yes. I know you're surprised, but it has been proven that using them for a long time can cause kidney
how
injuries.
Much is a long time? How much would a doctor say?
I mean, if you are hooked on pain medications almost every day in your life for years, let's say more than, I wouldn't put a number to it, but more than 5 to 10 years, the thing is, the more you use, the more your risk goes up.
I am asking this because some women suffer a lot of menstrual pain and would have to depend on painkillers. And if you started your period at, say, age 15, which I think I've even gone quite far, but if you started at age 15 and you're about 30, 40 and you're still surviving on painkillers.
But you use them, let's say, once or twice a month, right?
Okay.
But this is with respect to indiscriminate use. Like, I have a small headache. You gobble up some, yes. And then these ones, aspirin is a big culprit. Ibuprofen is also a big culprit. And then even also, nowadays, the youth have been found to be mixing different types of analgesic, different types of drugs to get euphoria. All these things are usually very toxic to the kidneys. Another one I can even talk about is indiscriminate use of herbal preparations. Okay? I mean, a lot of people now drink so many different types of things every day. And then all these things can predispose you to getting a parenchymal disease, interstitial disease, and then you can get a kidney disease, a chronic kidney disease.
Interesting.
Yes.
I would have thought that taking medications would put a lot of pressure on your liver.
So there are some medications that do work through the liver or are excreted through the liver, and there are some medications that are excreted through the kidneys. So the liver ones are called liver toxic drugs. The kidney ones are called, for example, if someone has HIV and is on HIV medication, usually what we check is we will keep on checking your kidney function with time, because you are using some of these drugs that may be nephrotoxic. Okay. Yes, if someone is also having cancer and you're on cancer medications, we also check that a lot. So the thing is, there are therapeutic indexes, as in safe ranges where you can use these medications.
Right.
But if you use them beyond those safe ranges, then you'll be causing harm to your kidneys.
Okay. We'll come to lifestyle. But once we have doctor here, I feel a little kind. I want to open the phone lines for you, free consultation. Okay, calling and ask you questions. You can send in your messages as well, and then I'll read out the messages. Let me see if you have sent a few of them already. Okay, good. We're going to go to lifestyle, behavioral, the things you do that may contribute to your kidney, affecting your kidney. But there's a good question here that's going to lead us to that one. It says that, MFAP, what's the link between kidney disease and smoking? Does shisha affect it too? Maybe I should go back to the top. Now, head excess salt and dehydration creates kidney stones. I definitely am going to ask doctor what kidney stones are. What are some of the habits that create the stones? Can one be asymptomatic to kidney diseases? Can STI affect the kidney? Someone said, I had traces of the stones 2 years back, but was asked to drink lots of fluid, especially coconut water. After 4 months, I went back and I was cleared. It started with pains in my back and side, so went to the hospital to check out, only to find out I had traces. It turned out to be hypo something. I cannot mention it. Can I spell it for you?
Yes, spell it.
Okay. Hypo, and then it has CHONDRIAC. Okay.
That's stones, yeah.
Okay, that's stones, right? Kidney stones. Okay. So let's go back. It says that excess salt and dehydration, does it create kidney stones? Where do the stones really come from? And can you be asymptomatic as well? And the person also wants your comment on STIs affecting kidneys.
Okay, so stones have a way of affecting the kidney. For example, let me give you a simple analogy. Imagine having like a bowl of salt water, brine, okay, a mixture of water and salt. And then you leave it, let's say, in the sun for it to evaporate. What happens? You can see crystals of salt forming, okay?
Okay.
Salt is a major part of the urine we produce. So not drinking a lot of water would mean that your urine will be very concentrated. So when your urine is really concentrated, you can form some crystals. So these are what we call stones. There are different types of stones, but this one, a simple way I can explain stones for you. Okay. What the stones will do is that you see all these tubes, okay?
Right.
You can have a stone blocking any of the tubes.
Is it painful?
Yeah, it's painful. Stones are actually very painful. Sometimes people think they are having other things like appendicitis, but you go in and it's stones. Yes. So the stones can block the tubes that the urine passes through. So when it blocks that, what happens is that you have a backup of urine that can even go into the kidney. Okay? When that happens, then it can put your kidney at risk. Okay. At risk of getting a chronic kidney disease. Okay. So that is why it is very important to drink a lot of water. I just saw you drank water.
Don't want any kidney stone problem this morning.
It is really good to drink a lot of water. In fact, one of the very high risk factors for chronic kidney disease is dehydration. Really? Yes.
It is a bad end dog because it's only no matter drink a crowd. You literally have to make an effort to go look for the water, or you have to be so thirsty. But we're told that it's not good to wait till you're thirsty before you.
You need to drink at least about 3 liters of water a day.
That is like this one. How many?
This one is, I think if this one is 500, you need like 6. Hey. That is why it's good to have a water bottle. I mean, if you have a water bottle, you are reminded every time that there is something beside you that contains water, rather than to go and look for water. What about tea?
If you drink, so 6 of this and it is tea.
Well,
you're drinking it.
Well, you also need plain water. I mean, tea contains fluid water as well, but it is not alone. There are other ingredients in there, and they are also hypertonic. So you need. Okay,
Doc, let's go back to the stones. So you mentioned that the kidney. You mentioned something about salt.
Yes.
So this salt, is it coming from the body or from the things that you ate?
It's coming from the body. Okay. And also, I mean, if you eat a lot of salt, I mean, you need a lot of water because we have a thing that says that water goes where salt goes. Okay. Eating a lot of salt, what it does is that it can predispose you to hypertension. Okay. And we already established that about 25 to 30% of chronic kidney disease are caused by hypertension. So usually what these lifestyle things do is that they put you at risk of getting these comorbidities, diabetes, hypertension. Okay. So smoking directly, let's say directly will not cause your kidney disease, but smoking will let you get hypertension, will let you get a cardiac disease, which will later lead to a kidney disease. This is because the kidney really works hand in hand with the heart. Okay. So that's one of the main issues.
When the stone eventually forms, if it blocks the tube, my understanding is that it can also form inside the kidney.
Yes.
Okay. So what do you do? Do you go into the kidney to take it out, or it melts away?
So, I mean, it depends for management of nephrolithiasis, that's what we call the kidney stones. Management depends on the size of the stone. We can even have like a method of using shock waves.
Okay.
So we do shock wave. You apply direct shock waves into the part of the kidney that has the stones, and then it crushes the stones. Okay. Sometimes too, we will give you some drugs that can help you pass out the stone.
Okay.
Exactly. Yes.
What's the relationship between UTI and the kidney?
So UTIs, okay, the thing is that UTIs are infections of the urinary tract. So it starts with the tubes that I was talking about that comes down. And the thing is, UTIs can travel up. So you can get a UTI that's localized to the outer tracts, but if it is not treated, the infection can travel up into the kidneys.
Look at that.
Then it would rather put the kidney at risk of developing a chronic kidney disease.
Okay. What is the relationship between sexually transmitted infections and the kidney?
That's exactly. It can also go up to an ascending infection.
Okay.
For example, some of the sexually transmitted disease, the popular one we know, HIV, even has a direct cause. We call it the HIV-associated kidney disease. So HIV can directly, because your immune system is very weak, can predispose your kidneys to chronic kidney disease. So there is a direct link of sexually transmitted diseases to kidney diseases.
Okay.
Yes.
What are you, apart from salt you mentioned, eating?
So eating, so you have to eat a very well-balanced diet, okay? Because the thing is, what lifestyle does is that lifestyle will predispose you to other things that will lead you to kidney disease.
Right.
So what you need to do is to also do a lot of exercise. Exercises will help you avoid things like hypertension and diabetes, which will eventually lead to kidney disease. So lifestyle, eating well, resting very well, because stress is also a factor for these comorbidities. Drinking a lot of water, that I can't stress enough.
Right.
A lot of water.
Doesn't matter the type of water, room temperature or ice water.
I mean, whatever makes you comfortable.
So it's okay once you're drinking the water.
Once you are drinking the water, and it should be clean, filtered water.
Oh Lord.
It should be clean, filtered. Otherwise, you are getting other things as well. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. MFA, what's the function of liver salt to the body? Does it perform same function as the liver? Also, does carbonated drinks and loads of sugar intake affect both organs? Liver salt, I don't know if dog knows liver salt. That one that if you pour it in water to be boiled, to be then you drink it fast. Have you seen that before?
Yes. The liver salts are actually, they are actually not given for the liver. They are given for symptomatic reliefs of, if you have things like belching, if you have upper GI things, they are just given for bloating. They are symptomatic reliefs. They don't really have direct effects for the liver.
Okay. All right. I'm opening the phone line so you can call and then ask your questions. And then she was also asking sugar. What role does sugar play? Okay.
So sugar is also a very big culprit. What sugar does is that sugar has a way of affecting your blood vessels. Okay. A lot of sugar can predispose your blood vessels to what we call atherosclerosis, which is thickening of your blood vessels. You know, these tubes, just thickening of them, which would have an effect of how blood moves through your vessels. It can also predispose you to diabetes and hypertension.
Okay.
And then we know that
to be showing up everywhere
because they are the main culprits. Imagine like about 75% of the risk for kidney disease is from diabetes and hypertension.
Okay.
And then we get those diseases mostly from lifestyle.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Alcohol?
Big culprit. Alcohol also predisposes you to hypertension, diabetes, liver disease that can also affect kidney.
When someone says that they are on dialysis, what do they mean?
Okay. So remember I was talking about the different stages of kidney disease, that usually it starts acute, and when it's chronic kidney disease, even when it's chronic kidney disease, we have the earlier stages, stage 1 to 3, where you will probably not show so much symptoms because your kidney is functioning suboptimally, but it's not totally dead. Okay? Now, when you get to stage 4 and stage 5 of chronic kidney disease, actually the stage 5 is called the end stage kidney disease. Okay? when you get there, it means your kidney is not functioning at all. And I remember we talked that the kidney has this major function of removing waste substances from the body.
Yes.
So if your kidneys are not functioning, it means you are keeping waste. Imagine keeping waste in your body. So what dialysis does is that it's a temporary service that we use to remove these waste substances out of your body, hoping that you can get a kidney replacement.
Oh, wow.
So usually what dialysis does is that, so it will act as your kidney at that point that you are on it.
Okay.
And that is, when you get to the dialysis stage, it means you are close to the end stage.
Oh, Lord.
You
Okay. So it actually depends on how severe or how serious it is. Then we can know the number of times you need dialysis in a day or what.
So usually, once you get to dialysis, okay, there are some acute stages. For example, as I said, if you get a blow to your kidney now from like an accident or something, and then the kidney is not functioning well, you may need dialysis around that time to clear what has happened, the waste substance that have come. But your kidneys will be able to recoup and regenerate and then, heal itself, and then you come back. That way you can need dialysis. But if you get to the chronic kidney disease end stage, that would mean that you need to clear your waste substances regularly. And actually for about 2 to 3 times a week, you need it.
Wow.
Yes, before...
But if you're not eating things that will accumulate some waste in your body, would you need a lot more dialysis?
So that's the thing. You always produce waste substances. Your body, it's just like a machine. It's just like, a car going that produces fumes.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
You do that because your cells are always working, metabolizing different things, and there are things that your body do not need when it does all those reactions.
Okay.
So you will need dialysis.
Okay. Well, somebody's asking, how long can you live when both your kidneys fail?
That is a big question. So if both your kidneys fail, it means you are not getting hypertension control, blood pressure control, you are not getting new blood cells being made, you are not excreting waste substances from your body. And these are very critical functions to the human body. If both kidneys are not functioning, then you need a kidney replacement therapy. Either you be on dialysis or you get a kidney transplant. If you don't do that, and I'm afraid you have a very short time.
Is it really common to have kidneys transplanted? Do we do some in Ghana?
Currently, all the transplants I know about, it doesn't happen in Ghana. We don't currently have a normal stream service of transplantation of kidneys in Ghana.
Right.
So a lot of people travel outside to get kidneys transplanted.
Are all kidneys the same, or you also need what is called a match and all of that?
Exactly. Anything with respect to organ donation, you need a match, you need blood match, you need several different types of matches. So it's very hard to also get a match to be transplanted on. So that is also one of the major issues, aside cost.
Yes. Somebody's asking whether bleaching affects the kidneys. Something happening in your skin?
Well, you see, I would say not directly, but of course you are bleaching with chemicals. And some of these chemicals contain things that are nephrotoxic. You may not know.
Okay.
So the thing is, before you use anything called drugs, I'll say it again, anything called drugs, which is supposed to do good, you have to either talk to your pharmacist or talk to your doctor. Get to know the active ingredients and get to know whether you're using it in the therapeutic safe index. Because they say that everything is poison unless used in the right therapeutic dosage.
Okay. Because you have 2 kidneys, if one gives up on you and you're surviving on one, are you surviving normally like a person who's got 2 kidneys?
You are surviving normally.
Normally.
Normally. You would even not know that there are some people who congenitally have one kidney not working. There have been cases that they never even knew that they had one kidney not working. The other kidney is able to compensate fine. That is why it is a very important organ. You needed 2. You needed 1, but you have 2.
You have 2.
Yes.
Okay. Phone lines open now, please. You can call. I was gonna ask. So, Doc, please, are all kidneys the same in every human, especially sickle cell kids?
Well, the normal function of the kidney is the same for everyone. I mean, there may be different variations of the kidney, anatomical variations, okay? But things like sickle cell will not make you have a totally different kidney than someone, okay? In the structure of the kidney, I mean, I won't go deep, but there are different parts of the kidney. There may be anatomical variations, okay, which doesn't usually affect the function if it's a normally functioning kidney, okay? But sickle cell will not give you a different kidney than so. Just that being a sickle cell also puts more of a risk factor to developing kidney injuries, but the kidney itself is not different.
Okay. If what I've been learning now is true, means that it has a direct connection to the heart.
So I mean, everything in a way is connected to the heart through veins and arteries. Okay, but the issue with the kidney is that it works really hand in hand with the heart, because I was talking about control of blood pressure, which is also mostly coming from the heart. Okay, so anything that really affects the kidney can easily affect the heart.
Let's talk to Priscilla. Hello, Priscilla. Good morning.
Good morning, Emma.
Hi. Thank you for calling. You've got a question?
Please, I just want to find out. I'm one person that do have not like in drinking much water actually, but as I'm good at developing to drink enough water. But I realized that I used to I urinate frequently of it. I don't actually know why.
Okay.
But I want to, that's what I want.
How differently?
How different? Doctor is asking how.
My drinking enough water, is it going to make me urinate frequently? That's what I want to know.
Okay, Priscilla, thank you. I want to add another call on the minute. Hi, Ophelia.
Hello, Amifa.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, ask your question.
I want to ask you also something. After 1 month, I gave birth a month ago, and I realized that I was having some pain at my right side. So I went to the hospital to check, and they said I have the chronic CBK, I think 3. And I wanted to know if it's a result of the pregnancy or because I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't take drugs. So I don't know what really happened that I got the kidney disease that the doctor said. But I remember that for my 7th or 6th month, I was taking a lot of salt, like salty food. Maybe Kobe, kakao, those kind of salty food. So I don't know whether maybe it's because of the salt, because from what you were saying, a lot of salt too can cause it. So I want to know, is it because as a result of the pregnancy or, because I don't know the negative lifestyle I did that I had to.
Ophelia, I'm so sorry to hear this, but I'm happy that you're well and sound and you're able to ask your question, okay? So let's get some clarity. And this is coming at the backdrop of another mother who sent a question that after childbirth, does anything change with you after childbirth? So we'll be in line with Ophelia's question. Okay. Let's break it down. So if you have a child, if you give birth, are you predisposed?
Okay.
And also 6 months of eating a lot of salt, which means that she started 6 months is the second trimester. Yeah. 3 months childbirth. Is that enough to have somebody get a kidney challenge?
Okay. So
and she said chronic.
Chronic. So the thing is that pregnancy is a state that changes a lot of things in the body. Okay. So usually when someone is pregnant, they are at risk of getting particular types of diseases. Okay. There is a disease we call preeclampsia. Okay, I mean, I'll make it simple. A lot of people develop hypertension when they are pregnant.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have had hypertension but for the pregnancy. Okay. And remember what we talked about: hypertension and then kidney disease. Some of these people, when they are pregnant, they don't know that they are at risk of preeclampsia. Okay. So they may go through the whole pregnancy journey having hypertension.
Right.
Okay, and then preeclampsia can be very severe. Even in the most severest form, when you get eclampsia, preeclampsia is before eclampsia. Eclampsia can affect most organs. Okay, so what happens is that most women do not know that they had this thing going on when they were pregnant. So when they give birth, then they later start showing signs of organ dysfunction. And then we would rather diagnose them that, oh, so you have a CKD.
What's that?
That's a chronic kidney disease. That's what she mentioned. Okay. Sometimes too, it may be that you had the milder form of the chronic kidney disease before. Okay. Mind you, not only the lifestyle and the risk factors can cause CKD. Sometimes it can be genetic. There's something called the polycystic kidney disease.
Right.
Okay. And there are some other things that you don't need to do lifestyle things like smoking, alcohol for you to get kidney disease. There are other diseases you can get from childhood. Okay, that will predispose you to getting kidney diseases. But in the mildest form, if you haven't tested for it before pregnancy, you wouldn't know.
You won't know. You won't know. Okay.
So when pregnancy comes in and the stress factor goes up, and then you start showing symptoms, you may think that it was because of the pregnancy, which can be true if you got preeclampsia, if you got like a kidney disease during the pregnancy period, or it could be something that was there before that you did not notice.
Okay. So it's not very much strange.
It's not strange, but it's also because if it was a preeclamptic patient, the person was not managed because they did not know. It's also the same thing with heart issues. A lot of pregnant women come out of birth and then later they get heart issues. They get like hypertension and stuff. It's because it happens, the whole process starts during pregnancy. And if you don't check up on these things, that is why it's very important to go for antenatal care, because we check some of these things on regular basis. And then we try to prevent them from developing into a full-blown disease.
So for it to be chronic, then surely it must have started a while ago. Otherwise, if it was quite soon, then it would have been acute.
So exactly. So the timeline is when you have kidney dysfunction from like 1 day to 3 months.
That's acute.
That's acute. But if it's still there after 3 months, then it's chronic.
Okay.
And also with the salt, with the salt one, I mean, 6 months of salt shouldn't give you a chronic kidney disease. Yes.
There must be something.
There must be something else.
Okay. Our first caller said that she drinks.
Oh yes.
She wasn't drinking enough water first. Now she's taking upon herself, like, I'm going to be doing from today. And she's drinking. Yes, she's peeing a lot. Is
so I guess when you start drinking the required amount, which was definitely more than what you were drinking before, you would start peeing more.
Okay.
I mean, but if you do it for a good amount of time, you become used to it. And then your body will be able to put in measures in place for you to have a regularized time of like urinating. Okay. It shouldn't be a problem if you are drinking 3 liters of water. However, there's also another disease that makes people pee more than often.
Hey.
Okay.
I have follow-up questions to that, but let's talk to Kamal first.
Okay.
We'll come back to this one. Hello, Kamal. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Kamal, are you able to speak up slightly for me?
Yes, I'm patient. I'm a person who is like, I usually take much water.
Okay.
I don't know whether taking much water can also cause an effect to that. And
Good
also,
question.
like these herbal drugs that we usually take, how often can we maybe like get such a sickness from it or a kidney failure from it?
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you for your question, if you heard him.
Yes.
So he drinks a lot of water, and now he's actually thinking that it can be a problem because he drinks this too much. How much is too much water?
I mean, the thing is, the therapeutic index of water is it's really wide. Okay. Drinking a lot of water is good. I mean, 3 liters is a lot of water. I mean, drinking more than 3 liters will not harm you. But of course, if you do too much of water as well, you would have some major issues, as you said, with urinating frequently. But it doesn't really affect you so much with respect to your health.
Okay, so there's no illness of too much drinking water that can happen to your body.
If you are drinking too much water, okay, then you should ask yourself if you don't have another disease I talked about called diabetes insipidus, where you are always thirsty, you are peeing too much, and you are drinking too much water.
Okay.
Okay. Aside that, I think drinking enough water is what everybody does.
Okay.
Unless you are actually sick and you are drinking way overboard.
Okay. He's asking also, how can herbal medicine, yes, how can that affect your...
So the thing with herbal preparations, it has to do with two things. The first thing is the active ingredients. Remember we talked about some drugs having nephrotoxic activity, meaning that they have toxicity for the kidneys. The thing about herbal medication is you may not know that what you are drinking has a toxic effect for the kidney. That is the first thing. And secondly, most of these preparations are made without dosing requirements.
Right.
Remember I said everything is poison unless it's taken in the required dosage.
Yes.
So someone will say, take a cup full of this herbal preparation. Someone will say, take a bottle full of this herbal preparation. That is how it affects the kidney. And then nowadays, there has been a lot of new onset of chronic kidney diseases that have been linked to a lot of herbal preparations. There are still a lot of researches going on because usually, if you don't have, let's say, a genetic predisposition to a chronic kidney disease usually used to be for very old people. And now, it's happening to very young people. So there are a lot of hypotheses going around that maybe because people are taking so much herbal preparations now, unregulated ones. I mean, they are regulated good herbal preparations, but the unregulated ones, it could be a cause for kidney diseases as well.
But not really. What's the color of our urine?
It's supposed to be what we call amber, which is a shade of yellow.
Amber, shade of yellow.
So it's a range. It's a range. It should be from light yellow to maybe a little bit of a deep yellow. So if you are having a very, very dark yellow colored urine, then you know you are not drinking enough water. It means it's concentrated.
Okay. And if it is clear?
If it's clear, you're good.
Okay.
But if it's too clear and you are peeing more, then you're also having another issue that we can talk about later.
Okay, so the thing is, do not wait to want to feel any pain or feel a fever. Checking your kidney function is what's the name? If you go to a lab and they request for a full blood count, what are you requesting?
You can just say a kidney function test.
Kidney function test.
Or a renal function test.
Renal function test.
And then it is very good for, if you are 30 years and above, to actually do at least one check every year.
Okay.
If you do and then you have an issue with your kidney, you have to do it, let's say, twice every year. Then you modify your lifestyle. Because as I said, it can be a silent killer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, so we're not freaking out. The chronic one does not mean that it is fatal. The chronic also has stages of it.
Exactly, okay. 1 to 5.
Last question will be the pain that you feel for appendicitis. Is it similar to the pain you feel for the kidney?
Well, kidney pains usually would come from the back. Okay? Because the kidney, we call it a retroperitoneal organ, meaning that it is stuck to the back. Okay, so usually kidney pain will be at the flanks and at the back. Okay. But you see, when you have a complicated appendix or appendicitis, sometimes the pain becomes generalized all over. So you may think that the kidney as well. But if we are going to look for a kidney pain, we would rather go to the flanks.
Okay.
The back. Yeah.
Okay. Whatever you do not get to the stage where you have to go on dialysis. So at least every year when you're 30 years and above, go check. Just do a kidney function test. Just know how you're feeling. It's one very important kidney. If you have money, you can actually have money and not get a kidney because you're not getting a match and all of that.
Exactly.
Doctor has been teaching us the things that you require. It's not just a walk in the park, as we have said. Thank you so much. I don't know if there was a question. There's a person that was asking a question about hole in heart. No, that's another whole conversation that we'll have to talk about. I can't promise you to bring that conversation now, but we'll bring you that conversation sometime later. But Doc, it's a pleasure talking to you. I can talk to you till morning. Yeah. We've been talking to Dr. Bismarck Edu Apia, Medical Officer, University Hospital at KNUST. Have a good day, Doc.
Have a good day. Thank you.
A smile on the show, do stay.
Elite Records.